Level 1 intelligence officer. They don't hand you a gun and send you to Moscow on day one. They send you to a basement in Vauxhall. Your desk is in a room with no windows. You're not allowed to take your phone in. You write reports about shipping movements in the Black Sea. You read intercepted communications until your eyes hurt. You learn that intelligence is 90% boredom and 10% terror. Your boss is a woman named Sarah. She's been here 15 years. She never smiles. She gives you a stack of files 3 feet high and says, find the pattern. You spend 3 weeks looking. You find nothing. On day 22, you notice the same phone number appears in 3 different reports from 3 different countries. It's a coordination hub. You write it up. Sarah reads it in silence. She walks away without a word. The next morning, there's a post-it note on your desk. It says, good. That good keeps you going for 6 months. You make £28,000 a year. Your friends from university are in banking making triple that, posting about their bonuses. Your girlfriend thinks you're having an affair because you can't explain why you were at work until midnight. She leaves you. This happens to 3 people in your intake class. After 18 months, they send you to Fort Monkton. It's the MI6 training facility disguised as something else. You learn how to follow someone without being seen. You learn how to leave information in places only one person will find. They put a bag over your head and scream at you for 6 hours. When they take it off, your instructor says, that was the easy version. You pass. You're now eligible for overseas posting. Level 2, intelligence officer, operational. They send you to Istanbul. Officially, you're a visa officer at the British consulate. You have a desk by the window. You stamp passports. But twice a week, you meet assets. People who betray their countries for money or ideology or revenge, or sometimes just because they're lonely and you pretended to be their friend. Your first asset is a mid-level official in the Iranian procurement network, codenamed Nightingale. You meet in a car park under a shopping mall. You wear a wig. He wears sunglasses indoors. He hands you a memory stick. You hand him an envelope with $10,000. You make small talk for exactly 4 minutes, then you leave separately. If he gets caught, he'll be executed. If you get caught, you'll be expelled. The stakes are real but invisible. You learn tradecraft. How to spot if you're being followed, how to communicate in public without speaking, hand signals, code words written in newspapers. You have 3 different phones, 4 different apartments, one identity that pays taxes, one that rents cars, one that exists only for one meeting and then burns. You start drinking too much. Everyone does. The stress of being 2 people, of never relaxing. The station has a therapist, but you can't tell her the real things. You tell her you have work stress. She prescribes sleeping pills. You take them with whiskey. But you get results. Nightingale leads you to 3 others. You build a network. Your reports go straight to London, marked eyes only. You're 28 years old and you're shaping policy on nuclear proliferation. When the foreign secretary visits, your chief briefs him using your intelligence. You watch from the back of the room. Level 3, senior intelligence officer, desk head. They bring you home, not because you failed, because you succeeded too well. They need you to run a desk. You now manage 12 officers, half of them overseas, half in the basement where you started. You're responsible for Russia and the former Soviet states. The files that cross your desk could start wars or prevent them. Your mornings start at 6 a.m. with the overnight cable. Everything that happened while London slept. Cyber attacks in Estonia. A general's mistress in Minsk with loose lips. A weapons test in the Urals that wasn't announced. You prioritize, you delegate. You write the director's brief that lands on the chief's desk by 8 a.m. If you get it wrong, people die. If you get it right, nobody knows. That's the job. You have a family now, a wife who knows not to ask questions, a son who thinks you work for the Foreign Office. You miss his birthday because a source in Moscow goes active after 6 months of silence. A Russian double agent you've been running for 4 years is compromised. Someone in your own service, maybe. Someone in Five Eyes, possibly. The leak is real. The danger is immediate. You have 12 hours to extract him before the FSB knocks on his door. You coordinate with the SAS, with the local station, with a pilot on standby in Finland. You don't sleep for 48 hours. When the plane crosses into NATO airspace with him aboard, you cry in the bathroom where no one can see. Then you go back to your desk. There's always another crisis. Level 4, senior operational officer. They make you station chief. You're 37 years old. You run the largest intelligence operation in the most surveilled country on earth. Officially, you're the cultural attaché. You attend wine tastings and give speeches about Shakespeare. Unofficially, you manage 40 officers, 200 assets, and a budget of 40 million that officially doesn't exist. China is different. In Moscow, they follow you. In Beijing, they know where you are before you do. The surveillance is total cameras with facial recognition, phone tracking, human watchers on every corner. You teach your officers to live like monks. No patterns, no regular restaurants, no real friends. The social credit system makes cover stories harder. You play the long game. You recruit a scientist who works on hypersonic missiles. It takes 3 years. 3 years of accidental meetings, of building trust, of slowly moving from professional to personal. When he finally agrees to cooperate, you don't celebrate. You know that the most dangerous moment isn't the recruitment. It's every day after, when he has to live the lie. You negotiate with the CIA, with Mossad, with the BND. You give them something on Iranian oil smuggling. They give you something on Chinese investment in African ports. Everyone lies a little. Everyone holds back the best cards. You learn to hear what's not being said. One of your officers is caught, not arrested, caught on camera meeting an asset. The Chinese don't act immediately. They watch, they learn, they map your network. You have to pull everyone out. 6 years of work gone in a day. 3 assets you can't reach in time are arrested. One dies in custody. You write the letters to their families. You can't send them, but you write them. You carry their names. That's the weight of the job. Level 5, Director of Counterintelligence. You return to London as a director. You have an office with windows, which feels like a promotion and a vulnerability. You're responsible for finding the traitors, the ones who sell secrets for money or blackmail or twisted ideology. You read everyone's mail, not literally but digitally. You look for the anomaly, the officer with unexplained wealth, the one who accesses files outside their need to know, the one whose lifestyle doesn't match their salary. You learn that the enemy isn't just out there. Sometimes he's in the next office. You investigate a senior officer with 20 years of service. The evidence is circumstantial but troubling. You authorize surveillance on your own colleague. You watch him meet a Russian diplomat's wife at a gallery opening. Innocent, professional, or the beginning of a betrayal? You spend 6 months and $2 million to learn it was an affair, not espionage. You feel relief and shame in equal measure. You brief the Joint Intelligence Committee. You sit in rooms with the Chief of Defense Staff, the National Security Advisor, the Home Secretary. You speak carefully. Your words become policy, become operations, become risk to life. You never forget that. Your marriage is a partnership of absences now. Your son is 16. He knows you lie for a living, and he respects you less for it. You can't explain that the lies are armor, that they protect him as much as any operation. So you say nothing, and the distance grows. Level 6, Chief of the Secret Intelligence Service. They offer you the chair, the Chief C, the position that has existed since 1909, held by people whose names most never knew. You're 45 years old. You run 3,500 people across the world. You answer to the Foreign Secretary, to the Prime Minister, to the King. You are the visible ghost, the public secret. Your days are meetings, budget fights. Intelligence costs billions and proves its value in things that don't happen, which is hard to explain to auditors. Technology races, AI changes everything. The old tradecraft, the human meetings in car parks, they're being replaced by data harvesting, by cyber operations, by algorithms that predict behavior before the human knows it themselves. You have to modernize without losing the human judgment that machines can't replicate. You carry the failures personally. When an operation goes wrong, when an officer is killed, when intelligence is flawed and leads to bad decisions, you sit alone in your office at night. There's no one to talk to. You can't tell your wife. You can't tell a therapist. You write in a notebook that you burn every month. But you also carry the victories, the attack that didn't happen because you disrupted the network, the dictator who hesitated because he knew his plans were compromised, the peace talks that succeeded because both sides understood the real balance of power. Thanks to your work, no one will ever know. That's the contract you sign. You retire at 60. They give you a medal you can't display. You write memoirs that will be published when you die, if ever. You garden. You travel. You watch your grandchildren grow up in a safer world than they know, partly because of choices you made that they'll never read about.